What's up, everybody? So it's raining outside, and thought maybe we'd go over a little Tackle Tuesday video and talk about spawn bass. It's raining. It's that time of year almost across country. We're starting to get out of spawn in some spots. On the golf course, it's weird, like some will spawn in bed, and then on the other side they're getting ready to, and then so you really got to find them, but you usually can stretch out about a month's worth of bed and fish. But we got our lucky tackle box from March, and I'm gonna go over, pull a bait out, and we're just gonna talk about it. So I'm actually gonna pick and choose. Let's talk about the Rage Lizard. Now, if you guys seen my last video where I was out fishing on the golf course and we were using this with that shaky head that we got in the box. Let's see if I even... The shaky head was this one right here that got in the box. This thing was really sweet. I was thinking I was going to catch a lot of grass with the little two needles that sticks out the back to help it stand up, but it wasn't catching that much grass. It's about the same as a normal shaky head. But these lizards, this thing is awesome. Now when you pull this out of the package, you got to be sure to break that tail off. It's got a little bit, and I'll actually leave that little bit on there for even more action. And then you break each leg off. You want as much action as possible on this Rage Lizard. Told you guys it's storming, man. But anyways, this Rage Lizard, it's coffee scent. Oh, it smells, it's good. And I tell you, I like to use like a blue or a brighter lizard when I'm bed fishing, or any kind of brighter color so you can see the lure. But when I threw this in there, they were hitting it almost before it was even hitting in the bed. It was a lot of little males, but at the same time, we caught a lot of fish. And this thing, my go-to is usually Zoom Lizard, but I might be switching. These are a little bit more on the price range, but at the same time, this one lizard lasted me like all day, like 15 fish. I mean, this one lizard did really well. And they start to break and wear apart on your hooks, on the heads, and then here. This one lasted. It helped. It maintained its integrity for longer, and it did well. It did very well. I was surprised, and I think that coffee scent really, I think it kind of made those fish angry, and they were just really grabbing it. And a lot of times because the water is tannic and it's actually super clear, you can see that bass grab this and just take off swimming. And it was so fun watching that and sight fishing, and had a blast. But we'll put this aside and we'll talk about bed fishing now, since I've talked about this lure and everything. And pretty much you can swim this. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about it. You can swim this lure. I swim it on a shaky head, just whatever rig you're gonna rig it up to, what you want to drag it on the bottom. You can rig this swimming it, because these will flutter and it looks like a lizard or something swimming. You can also rig this Carolina rig when it's not spawning season. You can drag it on the bottom. I'm not a big Carolina rig fan. And if you guys don't know what Carolina rig is, you'll have a weight over here. You'll have a leader and this. So when you're dragging, your weight's hitting the rocks, this is kind of doing whatever behind it. It's really hard to feel a bite. You mainly just feel weight on your line, and you got to get used to that. It's actually, to me, harder than drop shotting or anything else. But Carolina rigging is a good way to catch good bass. But to me, it's all about the spawn. Lizards are a natural predator to fish eggs. So are carp. Carp actually eat bass eggs and stuff. But lizards, man, they cannot stand small turtles. They can't stand lizards. They can't stand frogs. Any kind of reptile like that in their area of their bed, and it really makes them angry. And when you're bed fishing, if you throw a lizard out next time you go out there, you'll catch one of the biggest fish of your life. It's insane. But anyways, when I want to talk about bed fishing, and you guys know what bed fishing is. If not, I don't know if I can find a Google image because I didn't take an image of a. But I'll try to find one for you guys and put it up. But it's pretty much, you'll see a clear sandy spot in the water, and maybe sometimes you'll see a dark spot in the middle, and it kind of cups. What that means is that male is sitting there swinging his tail, and he's getting rid of all that soft sand until he hits hard surface. Bass spawn on hard surfaces, and when he hits that hard surface, that's what makes kind of the shape of the bed and stuff, and they get really, really territorial. And sometimes you won't get bites for 2 hours on the bed, but you really just got to find that sweet spot. Like sometimes they'll be on the bed, you can have a dead center, they won't ever bite it. But once you put it like a foot off the bed, you'll see that fish dart over and grab it just because it's getting close to their bed and they don't want it even near it. Fish are weird and finicky sometimes when they're bed fishing. The males are really territorial. The females, when you get a big one down there, it's going to take a little bit longer to catch her, but it's worth it. Now, if you keep catching the male over and over and over again and you can't ever catch the female, the best thing to do is to catch that male, run down the bank a good distance, and release that male back into the water, and he's going to swim back eventually to the bed, but it gives you a little bit more time to catch that female big huge bass that's on that bed. And bedding, you're going to catch one of the biggest fish of your life. My dad's caught his biggest when it was bedding season, and it was a 16-pound bass. It was amazing. It was huge. I literally, my first time bass fishing ever, my dad took me out and we were bed fishing and he was showing me how. My first bass ever, 5 pounds, which was amazing. I loved it, and I was fishing with the old Zebco 404 back in the day, you know, push button. But that was, I mean, memories, man. You guys will remember those forever. Bed fishing is something else. I'm telling you, it's just adrenaline rushing. You're seeing them on the bed and you see them looking at your bait. Oh, it's amazing. But anyways, I'm getting off subject. Bed fishing, guys, if you kind of see a spot on the other bank and you're on the bank fishing and not a boat and you can't get it right up on that, what you're going to do is you're going to cast a little bit past it and you're going to drag it, and when you feel your lure just kind of go free, like it's really loose, that means you're in that bed area, and you just start shaking that lure. Just shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it on slack line so you're not pulling that lure too much across that bed and then you lose your strike zone. You want it in that strike zone as long as possible, and you'll know when you get a bite. Even though you can't see them over there, you'll know when you get a bite. So just keep that in mind. You'll just keep an eye on your line, because your line will start moving. That usually means they have it in their mouth. They're taking it off the bed to drop it. And just keep all that in mind, because when that line moves and then it goes limp and you set the hook, nothing, that just means he dropped it. Reel it back up, throw it right back in there and try it again. He's going to keep picking it up. And it's all about time, and you'll know when he's got a good, because sometimes they'll just pick it up by the tail. I mean, they'll just go like and take it and drop it, not even near your hook. And a lot of times they'll pick it up and then they feel like they don't have a good grip, and they'll grab and they'll throw it and they'll pick up the whole thing, and that's when you want to set the hook. But sight fishing or no sight fishing, if you know they're bedding and they're spawning and you can kind of see a little shiny spot on the other side, it's most likely going to be a bed. Near stumps, they'll spawn near stumps, on stumps. My friend told me he's seen one in the river one time. A stump was 15 foot deep and they're spawning on it. Like, so that's crazy. They're just spawning 15 feet deep in the water. But they'll do it. Bass are weird. Bass do whatever they want to do, pretty much. And remember, they're always a predator species, so you always, if you can make them mad, you're going to catch them. If you can get them on reaction, you're going to catch them. And all sorts of stuff. And we also, if you want, I'll go over 2 baits, because this is just one bait in the box that we got. We got the Cabin Creek Express Bug in the box. And crawls are also a good bait to bed fish with, which I also would like a brighter color. Like, at least this one has some red sparkle flake. This one's just straight up watermelon. But you want to break your tentacles apart for more movement. This one's nice and thick though. I do like that. It's going to be a little bit more adorable. Take a few more bites. And I like how it's thin, so if you're punching through some grass and weeds to get to that bed, because sometimes if you have weeds on the surface, they'll bed underneath, especially Okeechobee. But this is a good one to slide through, and it smells I mean, it just smells like a lure. So no crazy scent. So you might want to add a little bit of scent to this one. But we got Cabin Creek in here, and Lucky Tackle Box knows what's going on when it comes to spawning season, or even before or after spawning season, and they got you guys hooked up. So remember, next time you go out spawning. And actually, I'm gonna go over a couple more tips to help you guys. Line, because a lot of people are like, well, what do you use when you're bed fishing? Do you need it super thin? Technically, no. You can go up to 20-pound fluorocarbon if you really want to. I use 10 to 12-pound fluorocarbon. Only because when you all you want is that initial hook set, and then you can sit there and fight that fish, let her run, you know. But you don't want something too thick. You don't want like 20-30-pound braid, unless it's dark, muddy water. You don't want, I mean, you want something that's going to be almost invisible for that bass, just to help them know what's up. The way they don't see that line, they don't get spooked. And like I like to use, I just like to do Texas rig with a 3/16 ounce, sometimes a 1/4 ounce weight, just to get it in that bed quicker. And get it, if you get it quicker and a heavier weight, it's easier to shake. So you can use 1/2 ounce if you really want to. A jig could be good to be in beds. I mean, literally anything. One guy come with a lipless crankbait one time fishing with me, and he didn't bring any bed fishing material. I said, you know what, we'll catch one. We threw the lipless in there and shook it just like a lizard or something, and they hit a lipless crankbait on their bed. So they're really territorial. They really just want to get whatever's in there out of their bed and keep it clean. It's like spring cleaning for them. And just anything you throw, really. But I'm just telling you, if you haven't ever bed fished, look in your area, do some research, see when they're bedding, when's the prime time, because 1 week is a really prime time for catch those big females. And it changes. I mean, I'll be working 1 week and I completely miss the best part of spawn, and it sucks because you have to wait a whole nother year. But just keep an eye on reports, forums, anything you can, and research. Just ask around when the best week's going to be, you think, and fish as much as possible, because you're going to waste a lot of time on beds, and you will catch the biggest one that you've ever caught in your life. So if you're able to do that, like me, I'm just a weekend angler, so I try to just make the most of my time and fish hard on those weekends. But if you can time it right, guys, I'm telling you. And I hope these tips help. I don't know if they're like good tips or not, but if they are, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that alarm button, so next time I pop up a video, you guys get an alert. I am doing a lot different videos. I'm doing the Tackle Tuesdays when I can. I'm doing my Fishing Wednesdays, and whenever I post up family videos. So if you guys are interested in my life or anything, feel free to go check out those videos. If not, no worries. I'm really just putting them up for my family, because they're already all subscribed to my channel, kind of thing, and they can easily watch them that way. So my other channel if you don't like those videos, please ignore them and check out my fishing playlist. And I hope you guys enjoy. I got some great videos in the past for spawning bass and other things. I've caught some giant ones on the paddle boards, so be sure to check it out. And please head over to Lucky Tackle Box, subscribe to their YouTube channel, and give them a big thumbs up and a thank you for getting you guys on some big bass. Until next time, guys, remember, get out and fish. I missed.